Do you hear that? That is the sound of your heartbeat, an hourglass slowly emptying grain by grain, and no one has the power to turn it over. In the towering shadows of Sao Paulo, where skyscrapers obscure the very face of destiny, lies a secret only the awakened dare to confront. Memento Mori. Do not shudder. Death is not a curse. It is the greatest teacher you will ever have, showing you how to truly live in a world obsessed with the trivial. Picture a man stepping out of his apartment while the morning mist still clings to the streets. His mind is a battlefield of numbers, fueled by the cold pressure of the Paulista financial district and a burning hunger for status. When his young child runs to him, arms wide open for a simple hug, he brushes them aside with sharp irritation. "I don't have time." Later. The door slams shut, hollow and cold like a final period at the end of a sentence. He plunges into the chaos of traffic, chasing values he believes are vital, until the bone-chilling screech of brakes tears through reality. In those fleeting moments bordering on the void, as the light fades and breath becomes more expensive than all the wealth in the world, he doesn't remember the boardrooms or the contracts. All he sees are the sorrowful eyes of his child, and he feels a desperate, agonizing longing for just 5 more minutes. Just 5 minutes to hold them tight. We often live as if we hold eternity in our hands, but the truth is, every dawn is a fragile, mysterious grace. Do not let your life become a ghost story of laters. Treat every morning as your final opportunity to live with absolute purpose and kindness, because you will never truly know if that rushed morning kiss was actually your final goodbye to this world. Have you ever wondered why, in a city as volatile as Rio de Janeiro, where fortunes can vanish in a single breath, there are those who remain unervingly calm in the face of disaster? The secret isn't luck. It's an ancient ritual called Premeditatio Malorum, the premeditation of evils. Do not mistake this for cowardice or pessimism. This is the hardest suit of spiritual armor a Stoic warrior dons before marching onto the battlefield of life. Picture a young entrepreneur standing on the precipice of his greatest opportunity. While the rest of the city is still tucked away in rose-colored dreams, he doesn't waste time fantasizing about applause. Instead, he spends 5 quiet minutes dancing with his worst nightmares. He places himself in the wreckage. What if the projector bursts into flames? What if the partners hurl bitter, contemptuous rejections? He doesn't just think about it, he lives it. He feels the icy sting of failure so he can calmly map out an exit before anyone else even sees the pit. Then, at the peak of his presentation, disaster strikes exactly as he rehearsed. The power cuts out. The equipment goes dead. Total darkness. While chaos and panic grip the room, this young man simply smiles. A mysterious smile of someone who has already mastered fate. He calmly pulls out physical handouts he had ready all along, turning the catastrophe into a stage to showcase his nerves of steel. True wisdom isn't about praying for a life without storms. It's about having fought and conquered those storms 1,000 times in your mind before they ever arrive. When you have already walked through the fire in your thoughts, reality no longer has the power to break your will. Remember, you are not a victim of circumstance. You are the architect of your own peace. Amidst the electric pulse of the festivals and the golden glow of the South American sun, where pleasure is worshipped like a religion, a brutal truth remains hidden. Comfort is a velvet prison. It is silently, steadily strangling your will. The Stoic masters never sought power in indulgence. They forged their character through incomodidad voluntaria, the art of voluntary discomfort. This is a sacred ritual, a deliberate descent into the shadows of hardship to awaken the beast currently held captive by your own laziness. Picture a gray, rain-soaked morning in Rio. The chill creeps through every window. While the rest of the world huddles under warm blankets, dreaming of steaming water, you choose to stand before a freezing shower. The moment those icy needles strike your skin, that shiver you feel isn't fear. It is the roar of reason declaring to your brain, "You are not my master. I am the one who holds the scepter of this life." Victory over that cold water is more than a habit. It is a combat drill for the soul. Once you have subdued the instinct that begs for comfort, the bitter rejection of a client or the crushing fatigue of a long day becomes nothing. You have learned to smile in the heart of the storm because you rehearsed the struggle at the break of dawn. Do not let yourself wither away in the illusion of safety. Choose the hard path. It is the only price worth paying for the absolute freedom of an unbeatable mind. In the gray shadows of dawn, an invisible chain is waiting to slip around your neck. It isn't the shackle of a tyrant. It is the instant, knee-jerk reaction of your own mind to the world outside. The Stoic masters understood a profound truth. True freedom doesn't lie in what you can do, but in the mysterious silence between an event and your response to it. That is the land of liberty, a place where very few have the courage to set foot. Imagine you've just opened your eyes. The blue light from your phone slices through the room, carrying an insulting message from a toxic colleague or a venomous comment on social media. Instantly, the blood in your veins begins to boil. Your heart pounds like a war drum. Your fingers tremble with the primal urge to strike back, to type out a devastating reply and defend your wounded ego. But stop. In that exact moment, take a breath. A deep, deliberate breath for exactly 5 seconds. Those 5 seconds aren't just a pause. They are a grand journey from an impulsive child to a king ruling his inner kingdom. In that brief, mysterious window, you reclaim the key to your soul, the one you were about to hand over to your enemy. Carve this truth into your mind. Whoever has the power to make you angry is your master. Every time you react impulsively, you are bowing down and kneeling before them. Never hand over the keys to your peace to a stranger. Calmness is your most lethal counterattack. It is the ultimate proof that you, and you alone, are the master of your fate. The outside world is an eternal storm, a chaotic reality where unpredictable variables shift without warning. Most of us are drifting like debris in the ocean, lost because we mistakenly believe we can control the waves. But there is an ancient secret the Stoic masters used to bend fate, the inner compass. True power does not lie in forcing the ocean to be still, it lies in gripping the wheel in the only kingdom you truly own, your soul. Imagine you are trapped in a massive river of iron in the heart of Brasilia at rush hour. The sun is scorching the roof of your car. The air is thick with the blaring of horns and the heavy stench of exhaust. You are late for a meeting that could change your entire career. In this moment, a demon in your mind urges you to scream, to curse, to slam your fists against the steering wheel in a fit of total helpless rage. But stop. Freeze for a heartbeat and look closer. Does your anger move the traffic even a single millimeter? The answer is no. You are surrendering your precious energy to a ghost you can never control, the traffic. Right at the edge of the explosion, perform an act of pure power, reclaim the compass. Calmly shut out the noise of reality. Turn on a piece of deep, resonant music or a podcast filled with ancient wisdom. In that second, a miracle happens. You are no longer a prisoner of the gridlock. You have become a philosopher, resting peacefully in your own iron palace. Burn this truth into your memory. Happiness is not a gift granted when the world kneels to your will. Happiness is the pride of an unshakable mind amidst a shifting world. Do not waste your life trying to change the impossible. Master your reaction, and you will find the whole world resting in the palm of your hand. Did you know that every morning, the moment your finger touches that screen, you are signing an unnamed contract of slavery? In the dim blue light of that black mirror, you aren't finding yourself. You are voluntarily losing your way in a maze of other people's ambitions, agendas, and calculations. We wake up and immediately become spectators to the lives of strangers, unwittingly turning ourselves into pawns in a game designed by someone else. Imagine a great ship drifting in the misty ocean of life. Without a destination marked on the sea chart, every wind, whether a gentle breeze or a howling storm, becomes a headwind. Do not let the most sacred moments of dawn be stolen by soulless notifications. Instead, perform a ritual of power, pick up a blank sheet of paper and a pen. This is the moment you redraw the sea chart for your soul. Write down words that breathe with the fire of presence. Today, my purpose is to remain gentle when speaking with my mother, or, I will conquer 3 pages of a book to liberate my intellect. These words are more than just ink on a page. They are the oath of a king reclaiming a lost kingdom. Remember, if you do not build a plan for your own life, you will forever be a hollow fragment in the plan of someone else. Do not accept being a piece of driftwood, floating aimlessly with the tide, pushed around by trivial pressures. Stand up, grip the wheel. Become the proud captain of your own life. Because to a soul with a purpose, every path leads to glory. Do you feel them? Those invisible chains tightening around your neck every time you step out onto the street? It isn't the cold weight of steel, but the gaze of strangers, a throneless tyrant ruling over an empire of fear. We live in an era where our very existence seems validated only by soulless taps on a glass screen, or the hollow praise of a neighbor who understands nothing of your pain or your fire. Think back to a fateful morning. You stood before the mirror, wearing the one thing that made your soul feel radiant. But then a cold, dark thought crept into your mind. What will they think? Will they laugh at me? And so, with trembling hands, you stripped away that truth. You replaced it with a safe, dull shell, all just to satisfy people you don't even care about. In that moment, you committed a silent murder. You killed your only true self just to feed a ghost called approval. The Stoic masters understood that public opinion is the cheapest commodity on earth. It shifts like the clouds and can never touch the hard, unshakable core of a diamond. Why do you give the power to define your worth to people who haven't even mastered their own lives? True freedom begins the moment you realize you don't need a passport from the world to be worthy. Stop turning your soul into a trash bin for the world's unwanted judgments. Live so that when night falls, the only person you need to face and smile at is your own conscience. That is the only standing ovation you need to conquer the world. Drunk on the intoxication of endless ambition, we stumble toward the ghosts of the future, completely forgetting the massive hidden treasure right beneath our feet. Gratitude in the world of the Stoics is not some hollow thank you. It is a mystical alchemy, a power that transforms the broken scraps of your reality into the glittering diamonds of joy. This is the ultimate cure for the sickness of never enough that haunts our modern age. Right now, I want you to lift your hands toward the morning light. Look at the lines on your palms, the resilient joints, the most miraculous tool nature has ever granted. You can grip, you can build, you can soothe the pain of others. Do you realize how many souls out there would trade their entire fortune just for the miracle of healthy hands like yours? Then look at the steaming cup of coffee on your table. That fragrance, that warmth, it is a luxury so vast that millions trapped in hunger and chaos can only dream of it in their fitful sleep. True poverty isn't an empty wallet. It's a soul that is forever hungry for what it doesn't have. The Stoic masters taught us, wealth is not about having much, it is about needing little. Gratitude is the magic that turns what you have into enough. When you learn to cherish the ordinary, the world stops being a battlefield of greed and becomes a kingdom of abundance. Remember, a grateful soul is never empty-handed. Picture a solitary tent, huddled against the bone-chilling cold of the Pannonia front. Death lingers in every breath, and the destiny of the entire Roman Empire rests on one man's weary shoulders. There, the most powerful man on earth, Marcus Aurelius, doesn't spend these precious hours drafting decrees or counting his legions. By the flicker of a dying candle, he is performing a ritual of immense power, a conversation with his own soul. Outside, there is fire and the primal screams of war, but inside his journal, his meditations, he is meticulously washing away the dust of ambition, anger, and fear to find the purity of reason. If an emperor, surrounded by the clatter of swords and the crushing weight of a throne, can find the stillness to stop, then why are you letting your life slip away in a blur of trivial anxieties? Stoic journaling isn't a dry record of your day. It is the act of holding a sacred mirror up to your face to confront the demons within. It takes only 2 minutes, at dusk or at dawn, to set down questions as sharp as a razor. What piece of my ego did I conquer today? Whose heart did I wound because of my own pride? Every drop of ink that meets the paper is a moment where a mistake is dissolved and a virtue is carved into your spirit. Stop living like a sleepwalker in your own life. Remember, an unexamined life is not worth living. Your journal is your most private sanctuary, the place where you wash the world off your soul so that every single day you can be reborn stronger, wiser, and more profound. When dawn first breaks, your soul is like a lake of absolute stillness, a serene mirror untouched by the ripples of the world. This is your golden hour, a sacred space that, if guarded, becomes an invincible shield for your entire day. But most of us shatter that purity before we even leave the bed. We flood our minds with poisonous mutterings. Do you realize that every complaint you utter the moment you wake is a seed of an invasive weed? It silently chokes the garden of your mind before the flowers of wisdom even have a chance to bloom. Perform a ritual of conquerors, 60 minutes of absolute silence for the soul. Imagine a morning where everything seems to conspire against you. The coffee you craved is lukewarm and bitter. The sky outside suddenly erupts into a cold, gray downpour that shatters your plans. And then, the blinding sting, you slam your toe against the bed frame in the dark. Rage surges. Your tongue itches to spit out a curse against fate itself. But stop. Freeze. Swallow those words and hold an icy, deliberate silence. In that moment you choose not to complain, a mysterious power begins to wrap around you. You will realize that words are not just sounds. They are powerful decrees issued upon your reality. When you refuse to sow weeds at daybreak, you protect the sanctity of your inner kingdom. Do not let the first hour of your day be stained by the weakness of a whining ego. Stay silent so you can finally hear the voice of power and character. Because the man who masters his tongue in the first hour is the man who will master the world for the rest of the day.